Aquarius on the ascendant. You've had Saturn floating around here, giving you that sage energy for a while. But for the lunation cycle, the eclipse that's happening, we have another 10th and 4th house theme. So public versus private life. So is there something from the public sphere eclipsing your and blocking out your private life in some way, as there's been changes that have been coming through? And even though there's maybe been an increase for wanting to be more private and to ride these elements of change that have been reverberating through the fourth house. Um, and we have this trine between uh, Mars and Saturn. Um, there's information and that's flowing here, and maybe even the past love that may be influencing or coming in um, to play. There's also positive influences with in regard to a second house themes with Jupiter going into his domicile here as well. So which can help the physical body. Um, so when we think about, again, 10th house and 4th house themes, public and private sphere, um, there could be other people or announcements from people in your public sphere that, like women, for example, or mercurial people that
Mhm.
are um, surrounding you right now and are being baked into this 6 month theme. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm wondering if there is anything intuitively coming in for you, Tabitha.
Well, as soon as you started talking, I immediately went to this passage from Maya Toll's herbiary book about sweet violet. And it's so I'll just read just like the first paragraph here. This is from the ritual. So Violet is associated in her book with inner sanctum. And it says, in Victorian homes, rooms were divided between those that were public and those that were wholly private and used only by family. In modern times, the distinction between public and private have broken down, leading us to sometimes overshare or overexpose ourselves. So there's more, but I won't read the whole thing. But
Just wow.
yeah, but the
Just
reflection,
wow.
right? The reflection question, because I've had to work with this with some of my clients as well, because this question here, what do you show the world and what do you hold back? Do you overexpose yourself under the pretext of honesty? I feel like that is really um a problem in today's society. Like people just like feeling like the need to be an open book and like to tell everything when it's like there's value to keeping um some things sacred or some things to yourself or some things private. Like there's great value to that. And so this is not like necessarily recommendation, but like this was the first thing that came to mind when you start talking. So I guess the suggestion from that could be, if that resonates with you, if either you're nodding your head or you're starting to think, like, do I have a difficulty like creating that boundary and making that separation? Um, then perhaps violet is a good option for you to work with, and you can work with it in many different ways. I know there's like salves and creams. There are absolutes, which is a different way of making an oil. So it's like an oil form, but it's produced differently than how an essential oil would be produced. It's put in a solvent and it's extracted. The scent is extracted in the solvent. But anything like with the scent of violet or just a high quality picture of violet or bringing violet into your home. There are African violet plants, and actually African violet plants are great because they absorb negative energy in the home or in whatever space you choose to invite them into. So yeah, I mean, if you feel called to work with violet, you could also, even like if you wanted to like invest in a book like this, you can just do the exercises in the book, like whether you do the ritual or whether you do the reflection, the journaling. Those are other ways, to work with this as well. But yeah, I mean, if this like strikes a chord, I would say that could be an option for you. But definitely like that very strongly, like that passage just popped like right into my head when you started talking.
You couldn't have said it. That was absolutely perfect. That's absolutely what that like the message um that I had for Aquarius as well.
Well,
And
even though that kind of has its own card, I'll go ahead and pull a card and
oh, perfect.
see if we get anything additional. I'm going to go back to this Witches Familiars um, deck by Kate Osborne as we close out Samhain, our All Hallows Eve, all signs card read here.
Yes.
Okay, let's see
Making our
what.
way around the wheel.
Oh, this is so interesting because there are so many animals in this deck, and yet I got another elemental. So I got an elf who actually kind of looks like a mushroom. Got a
I love
little,
that.
he's got like that little red hat with the little white polka dots on it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and so this card is a card of mischief. So is there anything in this chart that you're
Yes.
seeing that could be like some kind of mischievous energy?
Absolutely. Well, when I think mischievous, like Mercury obviously comes like to the forefront, but this
The trickster.
Mars, yeah, this Mars, and especially because he's Kazemi and super powered with this mutual reception between um Mercury and Mars. So I mean the like the elf and like say like you think about like mischievousness, like fifth house elements, like someone stealing your pleasure away, or like like is there some sort of a mischievous element in your public sphere that is making you question whether or not you want to be more public or more private? Is that coming into play?
Yeah, so in the book, it offers up a few different things. And again, I'm not going to read everything, but it says, lighten up, have a good belly laugh, be the cosmic joker and see humor in all situations, unleash your inner child, meditate with trees, work with tree lore, connect with the tree of life, stop meddling in the affairs of others, or be warned, someone's up to mischief. So it could be any one of those meanings could apply.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I feel like that's hitting that Mercury Kazemi note.
It's just amazing how it's always like
I
so dead.
know. I know. All right. So
All
thank you,
right.
Aquarius.